In the last couple of days, there have been a number of national polls showing that the Harris-Walz ticket has taken a slight lead over the Trump-Vance ticket. Of course, we're still 3 months away from the election, so we'll have to see how this pans out. But there's no question that there has been a notable turnaround in the feeling of many Democrats who now believe that they can win in November. All of this has prompted a number of people to post comments on my channel asking what I will say or do should Trump lose in November, since in their eyes that would mean that Trump is not the Antichrist. So I just want to briefly address that now and look at what would happen if Trump loses in November. The first and most obvious thing that all of us know is that Trump will scream bloody murder from the rooftops. He will claim that the election was stolen. He will incite his base to take almost any action to reverse the outcome. There is simply no way that Donald Trump will go quietly into that good night. In fact, Trump and his surrogates have already said that they will accept the election results if it's fair, and by fair, they mean as long as Trump wins. Because make no mistake about it, if Trump loses in November, the majority of Republicans will believe it's only because the Democrats cheated. And you may or may not agree with that, but that is what's going to happen. But we don't have to be a prophet to see that indeed, should Trump lose, all hell will break loose. Trump could lose by 90% to 10%, and he will still claim that it was stolen from him. And there's also the fact that things are so crazy surrounding Trump that it's impossible to rule out any other scenario. Trump could lose and then run again in 2028. And that sounds crazy, but he would actually be the same age in 2028 as Joe Biden is right now. Trump could lose, claim the election was stolen, and leave the country for a short period of time, then return the conquering hero should there be some sort of national disaster or a civil war, or another kind of insurrection that opens that door for him. Trump being the Antichrist is not contingent upon him winning in November. It's contingent upon him returning to power one way or the other. The most logical and the most likely way that he returns to power is by winning in November. But literally no other scenario can be ruled out because of the sheer chaos that surrounds Trump. And it's important to remember also that the Bible does give us a number of specific descriptions of the character traits of the Antichrist. Those are not changing no matter who wins in November. And we also look at a man like Trump who matches all of those descriptions and who also is not changing, even though some pro-Trump prophets have said he had a change of heart after the assassination attempt. Anyone who has listened to the way he speaks can tell it's the same old Trump. In fact, he even said that perhaps he's getting worse. So I just want to reiterate that the November election is not the be-all, end-all to Trump being the Antichrist. His returning to power somehow is the key component, because he will need to head up the most immense military force in the history of the world. And I do understand the feeling that many of us have in that we just wish Trump would go away, that everything just seems wrong since he appeared on the political scene 9 years ago. And I share those feelings. I also wish that Trump would go away, and that we could continue on with our lives and see our children and grandchildren grow up. But the fact is that these things are upon us right now. The man who matches the biblical descriptions of the Antichrist is here right now, not 20 years, 50 years, 100 years from now, today. So whether it's him winning in November, or him running again in 2028 and winning, or perhaps some national disaster over the next 6 months that befalls a president that is not him but helps bring him back into power, or perhaps some type of civil war, even on a limited scale, elevates him to power. If there's one thing we know about Donald Trump, is that chaos surrounds him. So no scenario, no matter how crazy, can be ruled out. Many of us don't want it to happen, but he is going to return to power one way or the other.